Did you see the police officer, the female, the lady that overdosed on fentanyl? This is new news. Let's take a look.
First, the video is hard to watch. A Tavares police officer revived after encountering a dangerous drug while making an arrest.
Come on, breathe.
Hit her again. Rodney, she's not breathing. Hit her again.
The disturbing video is being released at the request of the officer, who is expected to fully recover. Thanks for joining us. I'm Lisa Bell.
And I'm Matt Austin. Officer Bannock says she wants the footage to be shared to spread awareness about how dangerous fentanyl really is. News 6's Troy Campbell is live. Troy, how is that officer doing tonight?
Well, thankfully, Tavares police say that their officer is doing much better tonight after coming in contact with fentanyl. That's part and thanks to being administered a overdose reversal drug similar to this one. That's something experts say is key to saving lives.
Sit down. Sit down. Give me Narcan.
Moments after conducting a routine traffic stop, Tavares police say this body camera video shows their officer suffering from an overdose of the powerful opioid fentanyl.
You're good, Courtney. You're good.
She's breathing.
Hey, stay with me, okay?
She mentioned that she doesn't really.
Is this real? Is this real? Did she touch fentanyl and now she's overdosing? I don't know. We're going to explore that and see if it's possible to overdose from touching fentanyl. The thing I notice about this one is, one, I couldn't get any details. They said something about the wind may have blew some fentanyl on her. A couple things. Why would fentanyl cause a police officer to overdose but not the person who had the fentanyl? In other words, if I'm a suspect and I have fentanyl and you take my fentanyl, how come I didn't overdose? How come the police officer did? And you also notice she walked conveniently over there from the suspect's car. She walked over to the curb to have an overdose. You don't walk somewhere and then say, okay, I'm going to have an overdose right here. When you overdose right there. Let's watch. Watch the walk. See her walking? Let me walk right over here and then I'll have an overdose.
Everyone surrounding her. She remembers feeling like she couldn't breathe. She said, obviously, it's freaky to see her in such a lifeless state.
Tavares Police Detective Courtney Sullivan says it was Officer Bannock's idea to release the video of her showing the frightening moments.
And she said, I want the public to see how dangerous this drug really is.
She said, release the video because I want the public to see how dangerous this drug really is. Interpretation, I want to release this video to get attention. Could be. Who knows? Let's watch.
He wants people to be educated in that, even with safe handling, it's still dangerous.
Rodney, she's not breathing. Hit her again.
Officer Bannock was administered 3 doses of Narcan, a drug that reverses the effects of an opioid overdose.
If someone interacts with fentanyl, we have to have what it takes to bring them back from the brink of death.
Andre Bailey is the CEO and founder of the group Project Opioid. He says fentanyl's high potency and low cost to produce has caused the drug to spread rapidly.
What we know is this: what worked a few years ago for law enforcement to protect them is probably not adequate today because the drugs continue to get more and more powerful.
And Project Opioid says the dosage of this drug is actually twice as much as previous versions. The reason being because the opioids are becoming much stronger. Tavares police say their officer has a clean bill of health now, and she's even made comments saying that she can't wait to get back on the roads to patrol. Live in Tavares tonight, Troy Campbell, Getting Results, News 6.
All right, Troy.
Can I tell you something about overdoses, why I'm suspicious of this lady? And I'll bet you it comes out later. Like I said, that happened a couple nights ago or last night. I think through an investigation, it's going to come out that she was faking it. For one, when you overdose, you don't walk over to a curb. Like, I'm going to walk over here to this curb and have an overdose. You remember Floyd that was murdered by the cop? Remember that? This episode's not about that. But the coroner came back and said he had enough fentanyl in his system, claims he died from an overdose. Guess what? When you overdose on a drug, you don't take the drug and then 30 minutes later overdose. That's not how it works. You overdose right there, whatever you're doing, shooting, snorting. If you've got too many drugs in your system or too powerful of a drug, you're going to seize an overdose right there. Like Floyd went in a store, came out, argued with the cops, fought with the cops, and then overdosed while the cop was on his neck? I don't think so. That wasn't an overdose. That was a murder from excessive use of force. It's the same with this lady cop. So I started wondering, can fentanyl overdose you by touch or by inhaling? So I started researching, and I found that a year ago there was another police officer who overdosed, may have overdosed, may not have overdosed on fentanyl. This was a year ago, and he overdosed on it from handling the fentanyl, and it was met with a lot of skepticism, like you and I are doing right now. Like, did that girl really overdose? Let's take a look. Let's watch this, man. I'm setting the video up for you. Now, this guy, listen, when I first click play, you're going to hear his partner say, don't get your face close to that. You know, that stuff's bad. It's almost like they're setting it up. It's almost like they know he's going to overdose, and they're commentating it before it happens. I don't know. You tell me. Let's take a look.
Put your face close to that shit. Yeah. That stuff's no joke, dude. It's super dangerous. Gotta be really careful. I hate dealing with it.
See, his partner, for whatever reason on this fentanyl bus, is saying, don't get your face too close to that. That's some powerful stuff. I hate dealing with it. It's horrible. I mean, that just doesn't seem like normal language to me that a police officer would be telling his partner, unless they're setting something up. Let's see. If you're just joining us, I noticed a bunch of people hopped in. This is Barry Cooper with Never Get Busted Live. This police officer is going to fall here in just a second. He's handling fentanyl that he just seized, and we're trying to discern, we're trying to figure out, we're trying to investigate, can these officers really just fall from touching fentanyl or inhaling it? Let's take a look. You tell me if this is real or fake.
Paul 6, start me 1141 for my partner. You alright, dude? Paul 6, code cover. Hey, dude. Wake up. Hey, buddy.
Terminal 91, Paul 6.
Yes, code cover.
If your breathing feels better on your side, we can really back over, okay?
Do you think it was a dope, or do you think you were having heat exhaustion?
No, it was good. Just got lightheaded in.
111, 57 attached, engine
I like.
141.
Where's the material?
It's in the trunk. It's in that clear plastic bag right there. Yeah. It tested positive for fentanyl.
His pulse is good, and
I don't have any.
hey man, your pulse feels great, all right?
It's good,
Good, normal rhythm.
Clear ET, Sarge.
Three?
Yeah.
I did 2.
Okay, we've seen enough of that. I think the girl at the beginning of the show, the female cop, I think she was completely faking it. I think this guy actually had some kind of a seizure, and they're blaming it on the fentanyl, or he and the partner invented this. The sheriff, I did some research for y'all. The sheriff came out with a press release that said his officer OD'd on fentanyl that he had touched, and the medical community went wild and said that can't be true. Let's watch the report.
Sheriff Bill Gore says he's shocked by backlash from the medical community over his release of a public safety video on fentanyl. The video shows a deputy passing out after testing drugs in the field confirmed to be fentanyl.
As News 8's David Godwinson reports, Gore backed out of media interviews this morning, set up so he could respond to the criticism.
being exposed to just a few small grains of fentanyl could have deadly consequences.
This is the video criticized by some in the medical community as perpetuating a false narrative that merely touching or accidentally inhaling fentanyl can cause a first responder to overdose. Sheriff Bill Gore released the video last week, and the backlash was swift.
This video is misinformation, and nobody should believe what's in this video.
Dr. Ryan Marino is a medical toxicologist from Ohio who first criticized the video, showing a deputy collapsing after doing a field test on fentanyl powder during an arrest.
Everyone should care about fentanyl overdoses. I think everyone should have Narcan and be prepared to use it, but this video is incorrect and it is going to cause a lot of harm.
In an interview with the San Diego Union Tribune, Sheriff Gore admitted he had no blood tests to confirm the deputy actually overdosed, and that it was Gore, not a doctor, who concluded that the deputy overdosed after incidental contact with fentanyl.
Why would you not drug test the officer? Why wouldn't you do a toxicology to find out what caused him to pass out like that? I don't understand that part. Hell, they drug test us for everything we do. Why wouldn't they test this cop to see if it's actually fentanyl? Well, it came back and bit this sheriff in the ass because he just started scaring the community, saying you can die if you touch fentanyl, basically is what he was saying. But like some of you are bringing up in the chat, how come it's not killing the guy who packaged the fentanyl? How come the person that packaged the fentanyl and is carrying the fentanyl around didn't fall over? A cop comes up and touches it and falls over? Doesn't make sense, does it?
I'm sorry, my mind didn't go to, oh, our deputy fainted. Our deputy had a panic attack. It just didn't go there. To my mind, it was an overdose from the drug, from fentanyl, the UT quoted Gore as saying. Some of the misinformation may have come from this 2016 DEA press release that said, quote, just touching fentanyl or accidentally inhaling the substance is one of the biggest dangers with fentanyl for law enforcement officers. A DEA spokesperson did not respond to News 8 for comment. In 2018, one activist posted this video on Facebook holding fentanyl powder in the palm of his hand to demonstrate that fentanyl cannot be quickly absorbed through the skin. Leo Beletsky with UC San Diego School of Medicine told News 8, he's glad the false narrative is finally being debunked.
It's really refreshing, actually, that you're doing this, and other news outlets are finally waking up to the fact that oftentimes law enforcement is wrong on drugs.
Sheriff Gore scheduled an interview with News 8 for this morning, and then a spokesperson emailed us and canceled that interview. Tonight, that public safety video is still posted online on the Sheriff's Department social media account. Jesse?
David, what about the deputy involved in all of this at the center of it? Any more information coming from and about him?
Well, in the UT interview, the sheriff said that the deputy has signed a release allowing his medical records to be made public. But at this point, it's unclear whether he even did a blood test to confirm fentanyl in his system.
David Goffredson. David, I'm sure you'll be following this one as well. Thank you.
So if you're just joining us, Never Get Busted Live, we're talking about police officers overdosing on fentanyl just by touching it or by handling it. And so far, the evidence is we call bullshit. It's just not true. Doesn't happen. I did a little more research. Let's take a look at this. The American College of Medical Toxicology and the American Academy of Clinical Toxicology convened an expert task force to review data on fentanyl exposure risks. And the two groups jointly released a position statement. This was in 2017, which concluded that, quote, incidental dermal absorption is very unlikely to cause opioid toxicity, and toxicity cannot occur from simply being in proximity to the drugs. Therefore, bystanders and first responders can safely respond to a suspected overdose without concern that they will be harmed by accidentally inhaling powder fentanyl or absorbing it through skin contact. So I think it's going to come out. The female cop who claimed she overdosed on fentanyl last night, I think it's going to come out that was full of shit. And I think the gentleman we watched a while ago, the way he falls, it looks, it's hard to tell. You tell me in the comments. By the way, I want everybody right now, if you would pay me, I want some pay. You know how I want you to pay me? With the like button. Just the like button. It really does matter, man. Those robots are sitting there looking for likes. So feed the robot. Reach over there right now and push the like button.